Guys, how are you? We'll give another minute or two for folks to jump in. It's a short little learning session today. It should take us about 30 minutes. All right, guys, it looks like we're gonna get started. I haven't had anybody else kind of pop in the waiting room. Um, it's a small group today. Yay, 7 of us. So if you have any questions as we're moving through things, feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question. If you're on either a Chromebook, a desktop, or a laptop, you can always just press and hold the space bar while you're talking, and it will give you a temporary unmute if you're just looking for a quick workaround on that. I know that there are some folks in here that I don't know, but I know most of you. For those of us that don't know each other, I'm Janet Winninghoff. I am a middle school academic technology coach, and I'm recording today's live learning session. And so there will be a form at the end of the session today where I will capture your email address and I will send you the slideshow that I'm going to use to help facilitate some links today, as well as the video recording of our time together today. So we will have opportunities to kind of play and work through some things a little bit, but don't worry about, jotting down the name of every single link, because I'm going to share this slideshow with you and it has everything linked up in there. So today's topic is add some Zoom in your Meet, right? Whether you're using Zoom or Meets for your classroom meetings, the idea behind today is giving you some kind of back pocket activities that you can utilize for those class meeting times. And so I think a lot of these, probably everything we're going to look at today, it could help support your content as kind of a preview review type thing, or it can be like building classroom culture, just having some fun with your kids. I know a lot of us have been in a Meet or a Zoom with kids, and maybe we're having online office hours and you have 2 or 3 kids show up and you guys are just kind of hanging out. And so these back pocket activities can be just a great resource to get them talking, get them thinking, kind of all of those good things. So without any further ado, the first thing we're going to look at is a little Jeopardy game. And so you can see on my slideshow, I have some links there that we're going to dive out to in just a second. There used to be a really great app or web-based tool that would do like a Jeopardy board for you that has since closed down. And so we're actually going to look at how do you make a Jeopardy board inside of Google Slides. And I'm going to show one that I've made, and I'll show you kind of how it works, how I built it. And then also on the bottom of this slide in the speaker notes that you see down here, I have a template for you. And so as I show you kind of the how I did it, it's just good information you're welcome to build out. If you're like, I don't know if I can do that, you can always use my template and just plug in your own information. So I love Jeopardy because, again, the questions can focus on content, or it can just help you build some classroom culture. You're going to see on the boards that we make in just a second, you can have as many or as few questions as you would like. And so that makes a great back pocket activity. You can really stretch this, or if you need to just compact it, you can do that too. And then we're going to utilize the link in slide feature. And so I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that. If you're not, I'm going to show you how it works today. It's super easy. And not only can you use that link and slide feature for a Jeopardy board, you can also use it to make like a table of contents or a timeline or an index. Lots of great uses for that. So I am going to jump out here. And we're going to look at, oh, hey, that's super cool. If it's not going to work. Hey, you know what's really great when you're wanting to show people some really cool tech stuff and it doesn't want to work for us? Okay, I'm going to click off of that. And I think I have my tab open up here. Okay. Yes. So this is my Jeopardy board, and I'm going to flip over into, sorry, we have somebody in the waiting room and I just lost them. Okay, so I'm gonna slip into presentation mode and we're gonna do like a little bit of an experience piece of it, and then we'll jump back out and I'll show you very quickly how I made it happen. And again, it's super useful if you're thinking about not only a Jeopardy board, but an index, all the good stuff. Okay, so we're going to present. Yay, Jeopardy. Okay, so you can see that I have some fun questions here. San Antonio facts, only teachers, springtime in Texas, or NISD legends. So disclaimer, I have questions plugged in as I started building this out just for the San Antonio facts. So I'm gonna start with the 50-point question, and then the winner of that one can pick the next point question. You can unmute yourself and say your name as a way to indicate you're ready to respond. Everybody feel good? Okay, 50 questions. San Antonio recently celebrated what milestone birthday? You can unmute yourself, or if you want to in the chat, you can just say ready.
Carol.
All right, Carol.
The 300th birthday.
That is correct. Okay, so on the teacher side of things, I might have like a piece of paper or a chart where I'm jotting down like Carol got 50 points. And so if you're wanting to make that a competition, you would just be kind of running that on the side. So you're gonna notice I'm gonna hit my little back button here. It's gonna take me back to my main board. And then Carol, would you like San Antonio facts for 100 or 200?
100.
All right, we're gonna click it. What was the first year the Battle of Flowers parade was held? And again, you guys can unmute yourselves, or if you want to just drop it in the chat, you can do that too. Maybe I'll count it down. Oh, Carol, 1889. Miss Hart says 1892. Sorry, I didn't mean to click off of that. Okay, and it is the 1891, which was, this was kind of a tough question. Sorry, I'm clicking way off stuff. So there seemed to be like, it depends on what website you're on kind of information, but you guys totally get the points. And so you can see that I can click on my points, and then I can always click on my back to end up on the main board. So again, you will want to have a way to kind of manage, maybe on paper on the side, you know, your kids and which points they're getting, and maybe also like a little place to jot down which questions have already been asked. But now I want to show you the magic behind how I built it. So each question, the first thing I did on slide 2 is I inserted a table, and I just decided how many columns and how many rows I wanted to have. So if you wanted to have 2 rows and you wanted to have, 6 questions in each row or each column, sorry, you totally could. If you wanted to have more columns in this, you can. Again, it's all about whatever you're wanting it to be. So for each one of these points, so like 50 points is here, I'm going to have a slide. So it's really helpful if you have the title of the column and then the point value, so that when you click on that question, you're kind of keeping yourself real organized, right? San Antonio facts, 50 points. Okay, so you're gonna see I continue to build those slides for each of those categories and point values. And so that's really where you're going to start, is you're going to build out all of those slides. So to make the magic really happen, you're going to notice I'll come right over here. So let's say for my 100 points, I need to link that so that it will go to slide 4, which is San Antonio facts for 100 points. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to highlight this text. Uh-oh, hold on. Let me plug in my computer, y'all. Definitely don't want it to die on us. Okay, so I'm going to highlight my little point value. I'm going to go up here to the link like I always do. And you're going to notice, let me cancel that one. So I'm going to highlight it, link it, and then you're going to notice right underneath here, it says slides in this presentation. So I'm going to see, come back. Sorry, I know that that's cutting off for you guys. I'm trying to get to a point where it's not going to cut off for us. Slides in this presentation. And then let's see if sorry, this is really not cooperating. I'm going to take that link off. Okay, one more time. Highlight, link it, slides in this presentation. And then I just need to know what number slide I'm linking it to. Remember, I said it's really helpful if we fill in that title bar with the column name and the point value. So it's helpful when you're actually doing the slideshow and helpful when you're linking everything up. So I'm going to select that one. I'm going to apply it. And then that turns into a little hyperlink. And so it's really that easy. The other kind of nifty thing that I did here is in the slide, I built myself a back button. So all I did is I inserted an image and I just searched from the web. And I was like, I think I really want an arrow. And so back arrow, like this might be what works for you. I'm going to insert it. Resize it. And so just like last time, I have my image highlighted. I'm going to come up here to the link button. I'm going to say I want this to link in the slides presentation. And I want it to go to slide number 2, which is my main board. And I'm going to say apply. And so now when I'm presenting that slideshow and I click that arrow, it takes me back to the main board. So you can see you could also use this in a table as like an index or a table of contents. Lots of uses for this. So the Jeopardy board template, I'm going to jump back to our presentation for today, which is here. So on our template, this first one that is here, that's the board that we just used, which you'll get a copy of that. And then below that, I have a blank template. So you could just go in there and plug in your own information and you'll get your own copy of that. So you're gonna grab both of those links. And again, On the template that I made for you, it has all of the linking and the slides already done. So if you wanted to just plug in some of your questions and try it out with your kids, hey, does this work? Do my kids like it? Before you spend a lot of time building a board, you can totally use all of those things. One thing I'm gonna just touch on really quickly, although I'm not gonna dive into it for today because we're just chatting for 30 minutes. If you're not familiar with Matt Miller and Ditch That Textbook, oh my goodness, I love all of his stuff. He has a Google podcast that he does with Casey Bell. And he has a blog post, how to add a Family Feud style game, again, using the Google Slides piece, and it is linking within the slides. He takes it a step further in that he sends out a Google form to his students ahead of time, asking them the questions, and then he plugs in that data to the form. So if you're wanting to kind of read through that and think about how that might work, I think that could work in both, you know, surveying the kids could be in the Family Feud piece, or it could also be in the Jeopardy piece. So he has this really great template here, kind of like I have for the Jeopardy board. And so in the slideshow that I'm going to send to you guys, it's going to have this first link here, which is that blog post that I just showed you, where he kind of steps all the way through his thinking on that. And then below that is a copy of the template that he has that you could kind of plug some things into. I will say I thought it was a little bit tougher when I started playing with that Family Feud template. I felt like that was a little bit more advanced than it was if I were to build the Jeopardy board. And what I didn't love about it was kind of contingent upon the most popular answers coming out in a sequenced order. So, you know, like in a Family Feud, like, you know, what's the number one, or we asked 100 people, what supply do you forget to bring to class every day? And so maybe one of the kids buzzes in and they're like, notebook paper. And that's really like the fourth most popular answer. There's not a real way to kind of get it just that answer number 4. So you'll look at those resources, decide if it's something that you want to kind of embark on. If you want some support with that Family Feud piece and you want to kind of build through it, let me know. I'm happy to kind of tease through it with you, but we're not going to spend a ton of time on it today, so we can look at lots of options. Next thing I want to show you is Quizlet Live. Anybody in here, you can either unmute or put it in the chat. Anybody in here use Quizlet Live in the face-to-face classroom? I'll give you guys a second. You can put it in the chat, or you can also just chime in. Yes, Carol. So Quizlet is a really great, and if anybody else wants to chime in, y'all feel free. Quizlet is a really great resource for kids to work with study sets. It can be terms and definitions, it could be synonyms and antonyms, it could be kind of all of those things that go together. So Quizlet Live turns those kind of study set flashcards into a game. So in the face-to-face classroom session, every kid in Quizlet Live has their own device, and the teacher will launch the Quizlet Live. It disperses the kids into different teams, and they work together to match those terms and the definitions, or maybe images and a timeline, things like that. So they have recently, I guess, added an additional feature, and now you can run a Quizlet Live from the distance learning classroom. So this first link here is just a little, I guess, I don't know if I think it's a blog post. This is their directions on how Quizlet Live works. So just know that that is there and it is available as a resource, and I've linked it on the slide. The other thing that is here is underneath that. So I have logged into Quizlet Live, and I'm going to say I want to go to my study sets. And so the great thing about Quizlet is you can build your own task cards or flashcards, and it could be academic vocabulary, it could be important dates and events that happened. It might be, you know, a math term along with the equation, anything that has kind of an A and a B side to it, I guess, if you will. And so you're going to notice I can come over here and I can look at the content that they already have. And so you're welcome to search and to browse up here in that top bar. I'm not going to spend a lot of time in that. If you do find a question set that you really like, but you're like, man, I really just need the first 5, you can modify that, just so you know. So for example, I'm going to go to my class. And let's say here are my terms. And so like here are my terms, and I can click them and I'm gonna see probably antonyms is what we're gonna see here on the cards. Cool. So you're gonna notice over here on the left-hand side, right now we're looking at the flashcard view. I'm gonna go all the way down and I'm gonna hit live. And it's going to prompt me and it's going to say, hey, do you want to do it in teams or do you want to do individuals? So teams, that's when you're in the face-to-face classroom, because it's going to group your kiddos in teams and they're going to work together, which is also very cool. You'll want to check it out and take a look at it. But for this asynchronous learning environment, you're going to say individuals and you'll select it. And, oh, sorry, is that sound playing for you guys? I know that they've done some sound upgrades, but I'm not sure if you guys hear the sound or not. Sorry, it got really loud on my end. Okay, so you're gonna notice I get my little link here, Quizlet Live. This is what I share with my kids, so I could post this in the chat, in the Google Meet or the Zoom, and then they just have to enter in the code and they jump right in. And as soon as you have enough players, it launches the live game. And so everybody's playing together and having a lot of fun. And so that is Quizlet Live. And like I mentioned, both of those links are here on the slideshow. So I'm going to keep moving along because we only have 7 minutes left and I totally want to honor you guys' time. The next thing is thinking about virtual experiences. If you've never heard me talk about 360cities.net, it is probably one of my favorite resources out there because it is a bank of virtual images. So this is not augmented reality. They can't climb up the steps you see here on the screen. They're really going to just get the virtual experience of looking around, which I'll show you in just 1 second. So again, this can be like a fun thing, like, hey guys, where do you want to go today? Or maybe you're trying to build some context for whatever you're learning about that day. So maybe if you're social studies, you're headed to the Boston Harbor, things like that. So 360cities.net is linked right down here, but I'm going to pop it up right here in my tab. And so again, you could pull this into the Zoom meeting by just bringing it up on your own device. And so right now we're in Peru, but I can also come up here to the search bar and I could search for anything location-wise, I think, that maybe you guys are interested in. So does somebody want to, either in the chat or feel free to unmute yourself, you want to put a little topic or a place that you might like to visit virtually? Okay, while you're doing that, or if you're just like, you can just take us where you want to, that's cool too. So I'm actually, oh, sorry. I am here on my screen. We're gonna just jump in and we're gonna see this little image, the lost city of a word I can't say in Peru. So the real magic happens up here Watch in VR, that is if you have like the Google Cardboards and you're sliding a device in there. So that's not really what you want. I just wanted to clarify. If you have the cardboards, you could totally use that. Otherwise, what you really want is this toggle full screen button. And so I can now navigate this, and I'm just using my mouse and I'm moving it around, and I'm looking down. Oh, wow. And I can zoom in and out. Ooh, sorry. That might take some practice. So again, if you were studying caves and science and you needed to talk about stalactites and stalagmites, how great would it be to bring in that sort of image for the kids? If you're reading a book, maybe you're reading Touching Spirit Bear, and so you're gonna search up the Alaskan wilderness. It's just really great for building those context pieces. Carlsbad Caverns. Let's see what we get. Oh, nice. So you're gonna see, like I have, sorry, normally I get a whole list of images. Let me try one more time. Okay, this is what I was looking for. So when you search up the term, it's going to show you all of the images that are available for that specific topic. So let's say Carlsbad Caverns. And I mean, again, you could use multiple images. Super cool. Oh, that's nice. And so if I wanted to like go back one, then it would take me to, maybe it would take me to the list of all of the images. So again, like we could look at all of these and I could chat with my kids about them. Lots of uses for these. Again, this could be content connected, or this could just be like a fun activity you're doing with the kids. Hey guys, where do we want to go today? And you're kind of checking out some virtual places and talking about them. So I just really love it as a discussion piece. All right, so I'm going to jump over the last thing that you're probably already familiar with, but it's an oldie but a goodie, is Kahoot. And one of the things I don't like about Kahoot is that the data is weaker, and it's all about like this competition and who's answering and kind of all these pieces. But I think in this distance learning environment where we're just trying to really get kids engaged and to have fun and to talk, it can be a really useful tool. If you didn't know, Kahoot has a premium version, and they're making their premium version available for free right now. All you have to do is log in, and then at the top of the bar, you're going to see, if you're a teacher, click here and it upgrades you. So you're gonna notice on my screen over here on the left-hand side, it says Kahoot Premium. I just did that today. Gave me the premium version. I guess those are their add-ons and stuff like that. So word of just kind of advice on Kahoot, you will want to talk to the kids about toggling between two screens. So they'll still need to be able to see the question that is on the teacher's screen if you're doing the whole class here, but there is also the self-pace learning piece, which you can now assign, and that's part of their premium feature. So again, I recommend going in and signing that up. You're going to notice on the teacher screen here, they're kind of modeling that a little bit. The kids will need to have a screen where they can watch the questions, and then they'll need to have a screen where they can enter their responses. And that might just be having those two windows open side by side. So again, that's just a teach piece with the kiddos. And I just wanted you guys to know that premium piece along with the self-pace is now available. So it is 11:30. We have looked at some really cool tools today. We talked about the Jeopardy board and how we can do the linking within slides to very easily create a custom Jeopardy board that could also be like a table of contents or an index, lots of ways to use that. We briefly covered how we might also do that Family Feud style. And remember on here, there are 2 links that dive a little bit deeper into that. We chatted about Quizlet Live, which can turn study sets, so words and terms or images and terms, into a live game, which is very useful. We did a little virtual field trip with 360cities.net. And we revisited Kahoot, and we know that Premium is available for free right now, which means that we can also assign the Kahoot as an independent activity. That was a lot. Questions, things I can answer for you. I'm going to post the link to our form for today. And then let me grab that. I'm going to actually put this as a bit.ly. So hang tight with me just for a second. And I'm going to give you a real short link. Okay, so if you go to bit.ly, which I'm going to type on the screen here. bit.ly/winning35 in your web browser. It will take you to the Google form that we're going to use for attendance today. And this is how I will send you the links. And then I'll also put this in the chat if you want to just copy and paste it from the chat. And if you have any questions or if you've tried any of this stuff out and you want to chat about it, feel free to unmute yourselves. All right, you guys, it's 11:33. I want to make sure I get you out of here on time. Thanks for joining me today. I'm not running off anywhere, so if you have any questions or I'm just going to hang tight in case you have any issues with that Google form for attendance. Make sure to fill that out so that I can send you the recording for today and also the slideshow that has all of the embedded links. Thanks, you guys.